Hey, what's going on, everybody? Nemesis Prime 85 coming at you with another video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the 30 DLX, the Last Night Optimus Prime, or Age of Extinction Prime, whichever you want to call them. But, much like every other figure we look at, we'll take a look at his box first. I have to lay him down because I don't trust him to stand on his own. On the front, you have one of the product pictures we saw when this guy was revealed. The little sword, very similar to how it was on the old Last Night figure boxes. On the side, again, behind him, you can see another one of the pictures. And you've got that same picture, but faded, with the red, blue, and silver. Back, another one of those product shots, a side profile of Prime, that original Last Night Autobot logo, back when we thought that movie was going to be good. On the bottom, all your legal stuff. On the top, the logo. And then you do have the cover with Optimus in the pose before he fought Grimlock. And then you can see the instructions inside. It's because I have the clamshell sitting right next to me with all the accessories. But yeah, there you have the packaging. It's what you expect from all of our DLX figures so far. But we're here to look at this beast. Now, a lot of people hate this design. This is one of my personal favorite looks for Prime, just because he looks cool. Everybody hates him because you can't really tell he turns into a truck. The only visible truck pieces are the smokestacks and then the little Western Star logo. But I don't really care. I grew up with those movies, so everything from them I love, except for my flapping skids. We don't talk about them. But this is an amazing figure. Even if you don't like the design, it doesn't change the fact that 3-0 knocked it out of the park with this guy. But we'll get in and look at all the details. And as you can see, it is basically perfect. There's a few things about the proportions that I'm not a fan of, but other than that, he is outstanding. The head sculpt could use some work. Not a fan of the eyes. And then it is missing the Cybertronian on the sides. But we'll talk about ways you can fix that in a minute while I knock off pieces that aren't supposed to be knocked off yet. Get in there. But just going up and down the figure, it is basically perfect. I adore this thing. I'm not going to go over articulation in this video because the joints on this thing are absurdly stiff. Like, I cannot move the hips at all. It took me 5 minutes to drop them down to where they are. When he comes packaged, they're all the way up, and it makes him pretty stubby, and he does not look good next to their Revenge of the Fallen Prime because he looks significantly shorter. So I extended his legs a bit. It does make that gap, but I think it makes him look a lot better than he does when you first get him out of the box. But yeah, we'll look at the back. You can see again the massive holes that I had to create, but it makes a whole lot of difference. And if you do pick this guy up and you have him next to the other DLX Prime, you'll see why I did it. But yeah, he is amazing. But, yeah. So we'll get into the accessory portion of the video. And if you have the other DLX Prime, you'll know there's going to be a substantial amount of accessories. So first we'll start off with all the hands. You do have the sword holding hand. The other one I have on the sword because it is a pain in the butt to get it in. But to get the sword into the hand, you do remove the thumb. And then you gotta sandwich it in between the fingers. It's a pain. It was scaring me the entire time because I thought I was going to strip paint off of the sword handle, but yeah, it works. And then you have these relaxed hands, and you'll notice the wrist portions are not on these hands. If you do want to put them on, you do remove them and peg them onto the other hands, just so they didn't have to paint a bunch of these. And it is actually a pretty ingenious call by them. Then you have your splayed out fingers. I don't really know anyone who's ever used hands like this in a display. But yeah, you get them. And then to just put them onto the figure, they are, of course, just ball joints. Now we'll take a look at the extra mouthpiece. It just comes with, come on, focus on the mouth. What the heck are you doing? Okay, there's the mouth. As you can see, it is pretty nicely detailed. It's very clearly Optimus's mouth. But to swap it out, I'm gonna fix this cheap piece of garbage tripod I've got. Swap it out, much similar to all the other primes we've gotten in recent years. You literally just pull the mask off and shove the new mouth on. And as you can see there, now we have Optimus with the mouth. That's not my favorite look on this figure because there is that line and then gap underneath the nose from where you put the piece in. Again, we will talk about ways to fix that in a moment. Yeah. I have no problem with Prime having a mouth. Everyone's freaking out because he has a mouth in Rise of the Beast. I don't have a problem with it. Never have, probably never will. But I will still always display my primes with the battle mask on. But for the rest of accessories, we do have, I believe they called it the Guardian Shield in all their marketing. I've always just called it their shield. But you do have his shield that he got from the Knights Temenos. It's very nicely painted and detailed. Unfortunately, it does not open up to turn into a gun. Again, we'll talk about ways to fix that. But to install this onto the figure, you do need to swap out some pieces. So you want to pop off the wrist portion and then get your finger under here, if I can get it, and you pull off part of his forearm for this swap out piece with a hole in it. Pop that on, get that in there, and put his wrist guard back on. And then you take one of the little adapters that come with this figure. You take it, you put it into the shield through a peg, and then you slot it into the arm. So now Optimus has his shield. There you have that. You can also, if you remove the adapter you put in, he does come with the wrist blade that he used in The Last Knight. Again, very nicely detailed and painted. And this just slots right into the same spot the shield does. You can see how friggin' tight those joints are. So yeah, you can't have that. It's not really my thing, but yeah, if you want to do it, you've got it. Another thing he does come with, obviously, is his sword. I believe they called it the Sword of Judgment in their marketing. I might be wrong on that, but you can see I do have the hand on there. The top is made out of a rubbery material. It feels like, I don't know if that's plastic or if it's rubber because it's flexible, but yeah, you can see the tip is rounded off just a little bit. Fix my camera. Let's see. And this is where I was talking about saying it was really hard to get in there because it is a very tight fit and the fingers are not flexible. But luckily, I didn't strip any paint that I noticed. So, now, you can see all the Cybertronian. And to put this on, obviously, remove the wrist, pop off the fist, slide that on, then put the wrist guard on, and you can have Optimus with his sword. And obviously, this is how we're going to be displaying him, because they made him look like a knight who isn't going to make him have his sword. So, there you have that. And now we'll get into the multiple adapters that he comes with. So if you come around to the back, you're going to take this bit right here, and this just pulls off. And he comes with 3 different adapters that you could use to store his weapons on his back. The one for the shield is just a little peg. See this notch up here goes into that little slot up there. You push that in, and then this shield just goes into his back. And this is how I've been displaying him, because I'm not really a fan of how it looks with the shield on his arm on this figure. But yeah, that's how I've been doing it. And if you want to do the sword and the shield, he comes with, make sure he doesn't fall, comes with this adapter, with this little circular piece that goes into the back of the shield. You just get that in there, and then you take the sword, which is in his hand, and then it just slides right in there, and you can have him with the sword and the shield on his back. But, yeah. So then you just pull that out, get the sword out, take the shield off, and pull out the adapter. It is kind of a challenge to get out because it's pretty tight just for stability of the shield. And doing it at a full arm's length away isn't that easy. But the last adapter he comes with is primarily for the sword. You can see the peg. Peg it right here. Peg it in, and then the sword can go onto his back. We'll put it at an angle, and yeah, that looks really good. If I can get my tripod up. And you'll have to excuse the hand. I'm too scared to take it off because I don't think I'll be able to get it back on. So yeah, there you have all of Prime's accessories. So we'll get him ready to do some comparisons here. And then, one thing I did forget to show before is if you come to Prime and you press the top of his crest, his eyes do light up. I am not a fan of the lights on this guy whatsoever. Turn my lights off so you can see it. Not a fan of how that looks at all because the light is a little too bright, so it blocks out all the details. It makes the crest sit weirdly sometimes if you don't push it back in. And I've never been a fan of 3Zero's heads on these Transformers figures. And you'll see what I did to fix that issue in a second. But for the first comparison, we have the 3Zero DLX Revenge of the Fallen Prime with the EMP Studios joint swords and the Quan Studios head. I will have videos on all the upgrades for him. I've got some posable hands coming, smaller feet, and then a torso kit which replaces these because these are missing details, and then these. So I will do a video on that, but as you can see, he is still shorter than him. That's why I had to extend his legs a bit, but they do look very good together. In terms of quality and playability, he is the better figure. I do love this thing because this is Optimus to me, but he's got some issues just because of how they made him proportioned to combine with Jetfire and still be sturdy. So there's a bit of inaccuracy with him, but basically everything about this guy is as perfect as it's going to get. So there you have that. Now I gotta sit here and try and get this head to turn off because it has a touch sensor to turn the eyes off. It's very finicky. There we go. Again, I will have videos on that when I get the rest of the parts in, but that's not going to be until the end of April-ish. Here he is with the Unique Toys Challenger. And this has been my main Knight Prime for the last couple years now. But, yeah, he just got replaced. So, there. You have that. And last but not least, here he is with the Unique Toys Dragoon. And I'd say that works perfectly. I know there is another studio that fourth-partied the Dragoon mold, but packed in a lot more detail and paint. So if you are in the market for a Last Knight Megatron, I would go pick that one up because it would look very good next to this guy. And 3-0 has yet to tease or announce any more Last Knight figures. Right now, we know they're doing their Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, but a few months back when they teased their Megatron, they also teased a Lockdown, which is going to look amazing with him, and a Dark of the Moon Shockwave. So at the moment, this either Dragoon or the fourth party Dragoon are going to be your best chance at having a Last Knight Megatron to go with your Prime. But there you go. And I know I said Megatron was last, but there's one thing that I do want to show off. So if we put Prime here, and if you are wanting to have a truck mode for your Prime, because these are non-transforming figures, and you can get your hands on the Jada 1/24th scale truck modes, they scale perfectly with these figures. I have the Peterbilt one with my Peterbilt Prime, and now my girlfriend bought me this one for my birthday to go with him, and it is just perfect. Like, it's basically the same scale, and they're just, it's amazing. Like, it blows my mind how good they look. And the color, the blues are practically identical, which is kind of weird to me, but yeah. So if you do want one, again, make sure it is the 1/24th scale. They do 1/32, and then really small ones after that. But yeah, it works perfectly, and it looks really good. So yeah, there you have it. And there is one more thing he comes with that I always space with these DLX figures because I never use them because they take up too much space and I think they're stupid. It's the weird display base thing. I don't know. But there is a piece you can pop out in his butt, and then that just pegs into it. But I don't use it because it takes up too much space. These guys are pretty sturdy as is, so they don't need it. But yeah, there you have it. I picked this guy up from BBTS. I know he sold out on basically every other retailer that sells these guys. So I would highly recommend going to BBTS while he's still in stock and picking him up because this is an amazing figure. I love it. Again, I apologize for not going over articulation, but the joints on this guy are too stiff and it scares the crap out of me. So I'm not going to do it. But again, BBTS, this guy is amazing. If you can find him anywhere else, I would highly recommend picking him up. Retail for this guy is around $240 USD. So do with that information as you will. Over the next couple of months, In terms of uploads, I am again going to TFCon next month. So maybe if I have enough time, I can vlog it. I am very lucky to have been able to purchase tickets to go meet Peter Cullen. So I will definitely keep you guys posted on how that goes. Because, I mean, Peter Cullen is literally the voice of thousands of people's childhood. So that's going to be an amazing experience. But yeah, I'll probably vlog it. I'll probably do a haul video and then get a lot of reviews out on that. Again, like I said, these DLX Primes come with a lot of issues. So if you are in the market for improving these figures, I picked up the upgrades for the Revenge of the Fallen Prime from Dino Model Shop on Instagram. If you go check out his profile, he has a ton of upgrades for these nicer figures in terms of MPM or DLX. And then he also sells DMK kits. I know I just said deluxe model kit kits, but whatever. That are spot on to the CGI model. They're just extremely expensive. But I picked up the upgrades for this Prime. The head. It's an amazing head. It looks a lot better than the piece of garbage that came with this figure originally. $85. I know that's steep for a lot of people considering it's just a head, but trust me, it is worth it. It comes with the swap out mouth, the pieces to turn it into the jet power head, and then a touch sensor, which I can never get to work for the eyes. The swords, I believe were $35 for two, might have been $25. He also has the hooks. I ordered posable hands and smaller feet because the feet on this thing are huge. The feet are $75, the hands are $50, and then his torso kit is also $75. The prices are steep, but these are limited run custom products, so it makes sense. He also has kits coming out from L8 Studio for this Prime. Most of the upgrades for him are from Quan, and then the weapons are from EMP. But coming from L8, there is a new head with a touch sensor, better details, better swap out mouthpiece with less gap issues. Posable hands, similar to this Prime. An upgraded shield that opens up and turns into the gun. That is $165. I don't know if I'm going to pick that up because it's pretty steep. The head was like, I think it was $75. But he's also got a Nemesis Prime head with, you know, the side of his face off. And just some head stands. Stand for the shield, stand for the sword. Just a bunch of upgrades. So definitely go check him out. It's Dino. I don't know how he pronounces it, but it's Dino Model Shop on Instagram. And if you are interested in purchasing any of his kits, just send him a message through Instagram, and he will 100% get back to you. He only does PayPal. I know I'm promoting the crap out of this guy, but he has helped me get some amazing stuff for my figures. So yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you're notified when I upload, because my upload schedule does not exist and it does not make sense. So be sure to do that. Leave a comment on what you want me to review next. I am open to suggestions because I am irresponsible and buy a lot of toys. So if you have something you want me to review or something you see in my collection from my collection videos, let me know. I'll think about it. I'll most likely review it if somebody requests it. So yeah, I will definitely see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.